Welcome to Travel Tons, where adventurous people go. 15 treasures that's never been recovered. Lake Toplitz. Lake Toplitz is a lake situated in a dense mountain forest high up in the Austrian Alps, 61 mi from Salzburg in western Austria. It is surrounded by cliffs and forests in the Salzkammergut Lake district, within the Toplitz. Legend has it that the Nazis dumped billions of dollars worth of stolen gold, in the area of $5.6 billion, into the waters of Lake Toplitz. The lake is 2,500 feet above sea level, and located in a narrow, steep-sided valley covered in dense forest. It can only be accessed via a mile-long private dirt track. Over the years, trees and branches from the surrounding hillsides have fallen into the lake, and now form an almost impenetrable barrier, which floats around 60 feet below the surface. This makes diving in the lake extremely dangerous. In late January 1945, Hitler had ordered the German finance minister, Ludwig von Krosigk, to move the gold reserves of the Reichsbank and other valuable items to a place of safety. Diving had been banned in the lake since the 60s, when several treasure divers turned up dead. But several teams, including the Austrian government and the German press, have managed to explore it. Old Toplets watchers believe that if there was treasure down there, it has long since been recovered and spirited away. Butch Cassidy's stash. Robert LeRoy Parker, April 13, 1866 – November 7, 1908, better known as Butch Cassidy, was an American train and bank robber, and the leader of a gang of criminal outlaws, known as the Wild Bunch in the Old West. It is said that Butch Cassidy buried loot on or near Wild Mountain, and near Powder Springs in the northwest corner of Colorado. World's most famous outlaw buried $20,000 somewhere in the Irish Canyon in Colorado. How big can that be? Hunters have tried to find Cassidy's loot, but as far as anyone knows, it has been without success. Faberge Eggs. The House of Fabergé was founded by Gustav Fabergé in 1842 in St. Petersburg, Russia. The Fabergé egg was a later addition to the product line by his son Peter Karl Fabergé. Prior to 1885, Emperor Alexander III gave his wife Empress Maria Fyodorovna jeweled Easter eggs for Easter in 1883. Before his coronation, Alexander III and Maria Fyodorovna were given eggs, one of which contained a silver dagger and 2 skulls. The egg came with messages including Christ is risen, and you may crush us but we nihilists shall rise again. A Fabergé egg is a jeweled egg created by the jewelry firm House of Fabergé in St. Petersburg, Russia, confiscated when Russia's royals were overthrown in 1917. Most of these 52 eggs were stored or sold. However, 8 of them have gone missing and remain unfound. One remaining egg was sold for $8.9 million in 2007, and that is why you care. Missing imperial Easter eggs are the eggs for the years 1886, 1888, 1889, 1897, 1902, 1903 and 1909. And yes, they are all 7 Maria Fyodorovna's eggs. The Golden Owl. On the Trail of the Golden Owl is a French armchair treasure hunt book created by communications expert Régis Hauser, under the pseudonym Max Valentin, and illustrated by artist Michel Becker. The book was first published in 1993. It provides clues to the location of a buried statuette of an owl, created by Becker. A man going by the pseudonym of Max Valentin announced he had hidden a golden owl in the French countryside, offering 1 million francs to whoever found it. Based on mysterious clues from a book, this treasure hunt has turned into a flourishing business, while keeping thousands of hunters hooked over decades. As of 2023, the puzzle contained within the book remains officially unsolved, making it the second longest running contest in the armchair treasure hunt genre. Hauser died in 2009. The rules continue. The book provides the clues needed to solve the riddle. John Dillinger's Cash. John Dillinger, public enemy number 1, buried $200,000 in the Wisconsin woods 3 months before his death. Dillinger's death is often described as the beginning of the end of the Gangster Era. On July 22, 1934, 85 years ago, FBI agents shot and killed Dillinger during a confrontation. He stashed $200,000 in small bills in a suitcase only a few hundred yards from his hiding place in Little Bohemia Lodge, Wisconsin. Shot soon after, he didn't get a chance to recover it. Oak Island. The most popular theory claims Oak Island holds the buried treasure of a 17th century pirate named Captain Kidd. According to local legend, a dying sailor on Kidd's crew claimed that £2 million worth of treasure was buried on the island. Various items have surfaced over the years that were found on the island, some of which have since been carbon dated and found to be hundreds of years old. Although these items can be considered treasure in their own right, no significant main treasure site has ever been found. The site consists of digs by numerous individuals and groups of people. The original shaft, in a location unknown today, was dug by early explorers and known as the Money Pit. Thomas Beale's gold. Thomas Beale discovered treasure in the Rocky Mountains, hid it, and wrote 3 ciphers revealing its location, the contents and who to give it to. Passing these on to a Virginian innkeeper, Beale entrusted a box containing the encrypted messages to a local innkeeper named Robert Morris. According to the story, the innkeeper opened the box 23 years later, and then decades after that gave the 3 encrypted cipher texts to a friend before he died. The friend then spent the next 20 years of his life trying to decode the messages, and was able to solve only one of them, which gave details of the treasure buried, and the general location of the treasure. All 3 cipher texts published in a pamphlet which was advertised for sale in the 1880s. According to legend, the treasure holds $21 million in gold, silver, and jewels. Beale hid the treasure's location in 3 numerical ciphers. The 2 other ciphers remain unsolved. Copper Scrolls. The Copper Scroll is one of the Dead Sea Scrolls found in Cave 3 near Khirbet Qumran, but differs significantly from the others. Whereas the other scrolls are written on parchment or papyrus, this scroll is written on metal, copper mixed with about 1% tin. The so-called scrolls of copper were, in reality, 2 separated sections of what was originally a single scroll about 8 feet in length. Unlike the others, it is not a literary work, but a list of 64 places where various items of gold and silver were buried or hidden. While most of the Dead Sea Scrolls were found by Bedouins, the Copper Scroll was discovered by an archaeologist. The scroll, on 2 rolls of copper, was found on March 14, 1952. Although the scroll was made of alloyed copper in order to last, the locations are written as if the reader would have an intimate knowledge of obscure references. For example, consider column 2. Verses 1-3, in the salt pit that is under the steps, 41 talents of silver, in the cave of the old washer's chamber, on the 3rd terrace, 65 ingots of gold. As noted above, the listed treasure has been estimated in tons. There are those who understand the text to be enumerating the vast treasure that was stashed where the Romans could not find it. Others still suggest that the listed treasure is that which Bar Kokhba hid during the Second Revolt. Although it is difficult to estimate the exact amount, it was estimated in 1960 that the total would top $1 million US. John Allegro, who in 1962 led an expedition, by following some of the places listed in the scroll, the team excavated some potential burial places for the treasure. However, the treasure hunters turned up empty-handed, and any treasure is yet to be found. Adak Island. In 1892, Russian pirate Gregory Dvorgstov buried gold coins in 150 tin cans throughout the island of Adak, which is located in the southwestern part of the Aleutian Islands. In 1943, Adak was a key military base in World War II, and a soldier found one of the tins full of gold coins as he dug a path to the Quonset huts that dotted the base. Another tin was found in 1959, but there are over 180 cans still out there, potentially worth over $365 million. Skilled treasure hunters seek to unearth the gold. Unfortunately, presence of explosives and military-specific physical hazards has been a part of the history of Adak since World War II. The island is riddled with live munitions. The Treasure of Lima. The Treasure of Lima is a legendary buried treasure reputedly removed from Lima, Peru, in 1820 and never recovered. It is estimated to be worth up to £160 million or $208 million in today's money. Spain had controlled Lima since the 16th century, when it defeated the Incas. In the centuries that followed, the Roman Catholic Church gathered a huge treasure in Lima. In the early 19th century, Spain began to have difficulties with its colonies due to wars of independence in South America. Lima was no exception, and in 1820 the city came under heavy pressure and finally had to be evacuated. In 1820, Lima was on the edge of revolt. As a preventative measure, the Viceroy of Lima decided to transport the city's fabulous wealth to Mexico for safekeeping. The treasures included jeweled stones, candlesticks, and 2 life-size solid gold statues of Mary holding the baby Jesus. In all, the treasure was valued at between $12 million and $60 million. Captain William Thompson, commander of the Mary Deer, was put in charge of transporting the riches to Mexico. Thompson and his crew proved to be unable to resist the temptation. They turned pirate, cut the throats of the guards and accompanying priests, and threw their bodies overboard. Thompson headed for Cocos Island, off the coast of present-day Costa Rica, where he and his men allegedly buried the treasure. They then decided to split up and lay low until the situation had calmed down, at which time they would reconvene to divvy up the spoils. However, the Mary Deer was captured, and the crew went on trial for piracy. All but Thompson and his first mate James Alexander Forbes were hanged. To save their lives, the two agreed to lead the Spanish to the stolen treasure. They took them as far as the Cocos Islands, and then managed to escape into the jungle. Thompson, the first mate, and the treasure were never seen again. though it is believed that Thompson returned to Newfoundland with the aid of a whaling ship. Forbes settled in California, became a successful businessman, but never returned to the island. Scepter of Dagerbert. The Scepter of Dagerbert was made of 22 inches of gold. Scepter of Dagerbert has three parts: the rod, the hand holding the world, and a statue at the top, the oldest part of the scepter. Its name comes from Dagobert I, the French king for whom it was supposedly created by master goldsmith LeRoy Parker, better known as Saint Eligius. Originally part of the French crown jewels, sometimes considered its oldest part, and dating from the 7th century. The Scepter of Dagerbert was stored in the treasure of the Basilica of St. Denis until 1795, when it disappeared, stolen in the basilica and never seen again. The Florentine Diamond. The Florentine Diamond is a lost diamond of Indian origin. It is light yellow in color with very slight green overtones. It is cut in the form of an irregular, 9-sided 126-facet double rose cut, with a weight of 137.27 carats, also known as the Tuscany Diamond, the Grand Duke of Tuscany, the Austrian Diamond, Austrian Yellow Diamond, and the Dufner Diamond. Reportedly, it has been cut by Lodewijk van Berken for Charles the Bold, Duke of Burgundy. Charles is said to have been wearing it when he fell in the Battle of Morat on 22 June 1476. A peasant or foot soldier found it on the Duke's person and sold it for 2 francs, thinking it was glass. Documented history begins when Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, the French jeweler and traveler, saw the stone among the possessions of Ferdinando II de' Medici, Grand Duke of Tuscany in 1657. It then passed into the hands of the Habsburgs, when the last of the Medicis died through the marriage of Francis III Stephen of Lorraine to Empress Maria Theresa of Austria, and was placed in the Habsburg crown jewels in the Hofburg in Vienna. At the time, it was valued at $750,000. Florentine Diamond was last seen in 1918. Confederate Gold. Confederate gold refers to hidden caches of gold lost after the American Civil War. Millions of dollars worth of gold was lost or unaccounted for after the war, and its possible location has been the source of speculation for many historians and treasure hunters. Allegedly, some of the Confederate treasury was hidden to wait for the rising of the South, and at other times, simply so that the Union would not gain possession of it. When Union troops were on the verge of invading New Orleans, Confederates quickly removed millions of dollars of gold to a safer location, the city of Columbus, Georgia. The gold was temporarily stored at the Iron Bank by William H. Young. On October 11, 1862, General P.G.T. Beauregard was ordered to take the gold from Young's bank in Columbus. Young refused to release it, but was compelled to do so by force. According to Beauregard's biography, what became of that coin is a mystery. Amber Room. The Amber Room was a chamber decorated in amber panels backed with gold leaf and mirrors, located in the Catherine Palace of Tsarskoye Selo near St. Petersburg. Constructed in the 18th century in Prussia, the room was dismantled and eventually disappeared during World War II. Before its loss, it was considered the 8th wonder of the world. The Amber Room is a priceless piece of art, with extraordinary architectural features such as gilding, carvings, 990 pounds of amber panels, gold leaf gemstones, and mirrors, all highlighted with candlelight. Additional architectural and design features include statues of angels and children. Because of its unique features and singular beauty, the original Amber Room was sometimes dubbed the 8th wonder of the world. Modern estimates of the room's value range from $142 million in 2007 to over $500 million in 2016. Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant, also known as the Ark of the Testimony or the Ark of God, is a legendary artifact believed to be the most sacred relic of the Israelites, which is described as a wooden chest, covered in pure gold, with an elaborately designed lid called the Mercy Seat. According to the Book of Exodus, the Ark contained the 2 stone tablets of the 10 Commandments. According to the New Testament Book of Hebrews, it also contained Aaron's rod and a pot of manna. In the New Testament, the Ark is mentioned in the letter to the Hebrews and the Revelation to St. John. Hebrews 9:4 states that the Ark contained the golden pot that had manna, and Aaron's rod that budded, and the tablets of the covenant. Have you learned anything new? What's in your mind? For more interesting videos, click the subscribe button. Thank you.